from the April 15th, 2012 concert Restoring Hope, Amnon Weinstein and the Violins of Hope. That was Stephen Greenman violin and Peter Reshevsky dulcimer, playing a traditional klezmer tune. I'm Sam Van Halgren from WDAV Classical Public Radio. This is Amnon Weinstein's Violins of Hope, live in Charlotte. The decimation of klezmer culture during the Holocaust was devastating, but it was not the only tragedy that Jewish musical tradition suffered. Before the war, music had been a source of joy and celebration and a means of escape, however fleeting, from oppression and prejudice. But during the war, Nazis used music in twisted and perverse ways, particularly in prison camps. Between 1940 and 1943, there were 5 orchestras operating in Auschwitz. A men's orchestra played near the entrance to the main camp, and at Birkenau, the Auschwitz death camp, musicians often played during executions. Some of these players survived, but for many, the music did not. Here's Amnon Weinstein.
So you are playing and you see all these things. Can you play after the violin or the cello or any other instrument? Never ever. To my knowledge, from the people who played, never played again after the Holocaust. Never.
Perhaps the most famous of the orchestras that played at Auschwitz-Birkenau was the Women's Orchestra, led by famed violinist Alma Rosé. Rosé was born at the turn of the 20th century in what was then the world capital of music, Vienna. Her family was a musical one, famously musical. Her uncle was Gustav Mahler. Her father, Arnold Rosé, was the founder and conductor of the era's most famous quartet, the Rosé Quartet. So it's perhaps no surprise that Rosé herself achieved fame in the 1930s as a violinist and then as the conductor of a touring women's orchestra, the Waltzing Viennese Girls. That music from a 1928 recording of Bach's Concerto for 2 violins in D minor, Alma Rosé and her father, Arnold Rosé, violins, the only known recording we have of Alma Rosé. In 1943, Alma Rosé was caught in a Nazi raid in France. She was taken to the infamous deportation camp of Drancy, outside Paris, and then to Birkenau. At Birkenau, she took over the existing women's orchestra. In Block 10, where Rosé and the members of the women's orchestra resided, prisoners would occasionally put on after-hour floor shows, a lesson in music's ability to blast away even the most grim reality. At one of these shows, Rosé introduced the women to Vittorio Monti's Czardas, Monti's Rhapsody on the Hungarian folk dance. The memory of Alma Rosé was honored at the Restoring Hope concert in Charlotte with a performance of Monti's Czardas. Playing one of her father-in-law's Violins of Hope, here's Seville Hulakan Weinstein with Sander Sittig, piano. Vittorio Monti's Czardas, Seville Ulakan Weinstein violin with Sander Sittig piano. From the April 15, 2012 concert Restoring Hope, Amnon Weinstein and the Violins of Hope, recorded at the Night Theater in Charlotte, North Carolina. That performance of Monti's Czardas played in honor of Alma Rosé, to honor her musical legacy and also her heroism. Rosé's fame won her some protection at Birkenau, protection she shared with other members of the orchestra. Many members of the women's orchestra survived the war, thanks in large part to Rosé's efforts. Rosé sadly did not survive. Her 1944 death, which may have come at the hands of another prisoner, remains a mystery. I'm Sam Van Halgren. This is Amnon Weinstein's Violins of Hope, live in Charlotte.
You have not to forget that since World War II, everything changed in this world. We are not the same world. Technically, completely not. The only thing that stayed exactly is the little violin. The same. Okay, we have other things, we have this, but this is the same violin for the last 500 years. And when you listen to the sound, you know that this is the last sound that people heard before the march to death. Listen to that. We don't have the voices of these people. Almost no photos, only the old photos before the war. And then you have the sound. And you have to think about it. This is the last things that people heard.
That's Amnon Weinstein. The timelessness of this sound